Welcome to the Transformation Institute's podcast for change. Here is our host, Omari Jahi Aton.
Hey, welcome to the Transformation Institute podcast for change. I'm your host, Omari Jahi. And today we're unpacking something that we all experience but rarely talk about out loud. We are talking about the language of respect, the unspoken rules. You see, society teaches us the basics when we are young. They teach us to say please and thank you. We hold the door for young ladies, hold out the chair for a young lady to sleep. All these things that we are supposed to do to be polite and respectful. But as we step into adulthood, into our workspace, our community meetings, and our family gatherings, the rules have changed. The loudest disrespect isn't usually a shouted insult. It's the subtle turn of a shoulder. It's walking into a room and only speaking to the people you think are important while looking right past everyone else. Respect is a language, and most of it is spoken without saying a single word. Today, we're going to break down those unspoken rules. Look at how we might be unintentionally dismissing others and learn how to truly command and give respect in any room we walk into. So let's get started. I want to introduce my co-host. We have with us today my man V. Put your hands together for him, your virtual hands together for him. And then we got my girl, Miss Vanessa. Miss Vanessa in the building. My virtual hand claps for you, Miss Vanessa.
Hey, how are you?
Okay. Your video is down. I don't know if you do that. You got that on purpose, but I mean, just letting you
Yeah,
know.
I'm out. I'm not at home right now.
Oh,
So I'm
got
out.
you. Okay, I got you. Well, again, this episode is about respect, the language of respect, and the unspoken rules in those things. I had a friend of mine, because see, a lot of times you can be disrespectful to people, and you don't even know you're being disrespectful. You just think you're just being you, and a lot of times you probably would never know that you hurt a person's feeling if they don't tell you. Now, some people do it on purpose. I'm only speaking about people that, like myself, I don't normally go out to try to hurt people's feelings, and be disrespectful on purpose to people. But there are people that are like that, But I had a sister to tell me that she felt some kind of way. We was at an event, and matter of fact, it was I think it was a wedding, a wedding reception. I think it was a wedding reception or something to that effect. And this young lady was passing out wedding trinkets, and she said that she handed me one, and I threw it on the table. I'm like, I don't want that. What am I gonna do with that?
You talking about me, man? You talking about me?
See, if you hadn't opened your mouth, would nobody know I was talking about you, Brenda? I said a young lady.
Well, I'm an old lady anyway, so.
Well, see, again, I was trying to give an example of how you felt some kind of way based on what I had did. I was telling the story, but I wasn't aware that I had hurt your feelings and had you feeling a certain way until you had communicated it to me a couple of days ago. Or was it yesterday? It was one of these days. I don't remember what it was. But my point here is my thing was this. I mean, this was my mentality. I'm a guy. Guy ain't into little trinkets and when you go to weddings, everybody's always passing out little trinkets and stuff like that. And the girls, they be like, oh, this is so cute. Oh, yeah, they got little hand sanitizers with their face on it. Oh, that is so cute. And see, and guys ain't into that stuff. And so I'm like, man, I don't even remember what it was. I'm like, man, I ain't finna do nothing with this. Why you giving me this? And so, again, this is a perfect example of how you can disrespect a person unintentionally, because that wasn't my intentions, and I was totally unaware of the fact that she was feeling some kind of way about it until we brought up this subject as a group, and she said, that made me think about that situation, at the wedding, and I'm like, oh man, I had no clue. I had no idea. Now, we already know Brenda had a situation. Is there anybody else in the group that maybe have been in a situation or found yourself in a situation where somebody later on said, you did, or you said such and such, and you kind of hurt my feelings, or you made me feel some kind of way, but you didn't have no clue about it? Anybody got a story like that?
Oh,
No? Yes,
no,
no,
they don't
maybe.
have it.
No? Well, it's possible, because if people don't come to you and tell you, like you told me, that's the only reason I'm telling this story. Because most time, and then I wonder, well, maybe I should reverse it.
Back here.
Say, maybe I should reverse it and say, have you ever gave a person, maybe I should say it like this. Have you ever walked into a room and it was a person in a certain section with the other people, and you knew that person was talking about you behind your back, or they didn't like you or whatever, and so you came into the room and you just spoke to all the people in that area except them and kept going because you already knew that you felt some kind of way about that person? I mean, y'all know where I'm coming from with this?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I know exactly where you're coming from. I've come into a room, and yeah, I knew, and I could tell. But I spoke to the person. I don't care. I mean, I knew, you could tell, you could get a vibe, and I said, hey, to, everybody, even the person who, I mean,
Right.
it happens. I think women go through that more than men, of course. Men probably don't even care. They don't even notice it. Women notices stuff like that. But yeah, hey, disrespect seems to have become the way of the world. So,
but is it intentional? I mean, do people
some of
really
it is.
You think
some
so?
of it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Some of it is, and then some of it's not, because you got a lot. I think a lot of disrespect. I guess it go both ways a lot, because you got a lot of people who really are unintentional with it because they just don't know any better. Like, really don't know no better. But you do have a lot of people that go out their way to disrespect you. So
I think it's both ways. But when you being both ways it goes both ways, just like y'all said. But I have a thing that even when you know you're being talked about, or even when you know you've been disrespect, I'm gonna demand my respect. If a person's in there talking, I'm not, and I know they talking about me, I'm still gonna greet you. I'm gonna say hello. I'm gonna have to beat you even more. You're gonna recognize my presence. Let me really give you something to talk about.
Right.
I like what Yolanda says. I like what Yolanda said. Yolanda says, just say hello, everyone.
I mean, that's what we do. I mean, you don't pick people out, then you're being like as ignorant as them. I mean, and I'm calling it ignorant because what you feel when you think that you come into a room and you see and you can kind of tell stuff, we might think in our head, call them ignorant, but I really don't like to call people that. But yeah, I just speak to everyone. You don't start calling out people, then you being a little messy too, yeah.
Well, okay, but what about a person you don't know? Because I've done this. I've done this Whereas, I mean, it's not okay. It's different. Like if people are sitting at the table and you sitting at that table and you come to the table, and you might be like, hey everybody, how y'all doing? Everybody say hey, but there's a person sitting at the table that don't know you, and you might not say nothing
Okay.
to that person. Is that disrespectful?
No, but it's
Are
just
you
like Yolanda said, you just say hey to everyone in that respect. Yeah. You just
and that
come
kind
in
of
and just
covers
say hello.
everybody, right?
Yeah, that covers everybody. Yeah. I mean,
Now,
yeah.
I've even been in a situation where I've walked into a room and maybe about 3 or 4 people were standing there having a conversation, and I walk up and I dap the person that I know. Hey, what's going on? You dap the second person. Now, there's only one person on planet Earth, and I ain't gonna say his name, that I personally don't like. There's only one person out of my entire 65 years on Earth. There's only one person that I do not like, and I even would dap that person, and say, what's up? He went to my high school too. And he know it. I know he know I don't like him, and I have my reasons. But what I'm saying is I still will shake his hand, say, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Fine. Have a couple of response, what's going on with you? Oh, nothing much. What you doing? No. And then I move on. And I ain't gonna speak to him no more that day. You see
Well,
what I'm
then you're
saying?
not disrespecting at that point. That's not disrespect.
Yes, I'm saying, but then there are people that be like, I can't stand that nigga. I ain't finna shake his hand. What? And then they'll say, if I do, I'm being phony.
Yeah.
I'm not being true to
That's a
myself.
personal thing. That's their personal thing, feeling like that. Because I mean, I personally don't feel like I'm being phony if I acknowledge somebody, even if I don't mess with them
Right.
like that. I'm gonna acknowledge everybody just to acknowledge them in that respect. Because I'm the type of person, I respect everybody till you give me a reason not to. But then even then, I'm a try not to disrespect you. Like
Yeah.
Brenda Lynch is stooping to that level. I'm not gonna stoop to your level and go out my way to disrespect you, because I feel like I'd be disrespecting myself, disrespecting
Yes,
you.
yes,
You know what I'm saying? So
that's true. And
I
again,
agree.
that's why I say I'll dap the dude up and everything, and even though there are probably people that probably was thinking like, I know you don't like that dude. Why are you shaking his hand and all that? You being phony, But no, I'm not being phony because my reasoning for not liking him, I I feel my reason is justified because he's a backbiter. He talks about people behind their back, and he talks about me and other people that I know behind our backs, and then be smiling in your face like they're your friend. To me, I don't like people like that. And I don't associate even with people like that. But this dude seemed to be latched on to my little circle of friends that I know. He seemed to be latched on to him, you know. And so whenever I go somewhere around people that I associate with, there he is. And I'm like,
Have you ever had the feeling of that something is not something he's missing in his life? I mean, that doesn't have to be true. Like V said, there are some people who just intentionally do stuff like that. Just that's their nature. But I always say, I don't know if it's to comfort myself or whatever, but I always say people who kind of go out their way to hurt people or disrespect people or always come about people, I always feel like they're missing something in their lives, because I mean, that's just how I feel.
yeah,
That may not be true, but I feel like they got to be missing something because, I'm no matter what's going on in my life, I'm not coming up to people and disrespecting them or acting like they're not there, passing by folks, rolling eyes, not
yeah.
speaking. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that takes so much energy to do. First of all, that takes a whole lot. You got to fix your mind. There's got to be a little stress. That's got a little, look,
Well, that's
craziness. Hey, if
no, I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead, finish.
No, it's good. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that that's part of the unspoken rules. That you treat how they say you treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
If you walk into a room and you speak to everybody that's there, well, maybe not everybody, people that are in that particular area. Like when you walk through the door, there's normally, you know, people that are right there. Yeah, hey, what's going on? And people speak to you, and you just continue your way through the group or through the party or the event or whatever, and you speak to people or whatever. This is what's called common sense or common courtesy, maybe. That
Yeah.
a lot of people, because they may feel a certain way about a person, that they feel like they are justified by not speaking to them. They're
Yeah.
justified by publicly showing that there's something going on between me and them. You know, it's something really, it's something going on, because people can feel the tension and you can create it by coming in, with that,
Yeah.
you know, with that tension, they'd be like, oh man, what's going on with y'all, and to your point, Brenda, I believe with the brother I'm talking about, I believe he probably was, grew up maybe a certain way where he was, it might have been a thing in his family, where people talk about everybody else behind their back and smile in their face, that might be just something
Yeah.
that their family did.
Yeah,
Huh?
learned behavior. He grew up
Yeah,
learned behavior. He grew up like
right.
yeah.
It could be, but I just don't
Yeah,
roll
it
like
could
that,
be.
and I don't like people that roll like that,
Yeah.
personally,
Well,
you know.
I have an instance where when I worked at a bank downtown, Federal Home Loan Bank, and I remember a boss lady, one of her employees went to a doctor one day and was pregnant and was told that she has to go on immediate bed rest, right? So I didn't work in her department, but I sat right next to her employee. Long story short, I volunteered to learn some of her stuff because it was like, all of a sudden, like the girl wasn't going to come back. She was there that one day and she was going to be off like the next day or two or whatever. So I volunteered to learn her stuff while she was there. And she ended up leaving. And the supervisor said, I went to the supervisor and I said, well, then you're going to have to show me or have somebody else in your department show me. And she looked at me and said to me, as if I had disrespected her, she said, they don't pay me what they pay me to do clerk work. So I'm looking at her thinking, okay, she could have got somebody else in her department. I found out nobody else knew the girl's job. So me, I went back to her and said, so you the supervisor,
and
and you don't
don't
know
know, yeah,
what your employee does. Oh man,
mm-hmm.
you talking about? She act like I had committed a crime. So, like you said, I didn't think I was disrespecting her. I mean, I was trying to help her, get some help in her department. And
Right.
we used to talk, kind of laugh a little bit, So I'm thinking, I'm like, wait, hold up. You don't know what your people do. I wasn't trying to disrespect her, but do you guys think that was a form of disrespect? Because I asked her, you don't know. She got teed off. I mean, mad, like I disrespected her. I didn't think that I was disrespecting her.
Right. See, the reality was, what I'm thinking is that how could she become a supervisor and don't know how to supervise the people that she's supervising? By knowing what they do, because
that's exactly how I felt.
Right.
Exactly. I felt that way exactly. Like
it wasn't.
How are you over them?
Yes, I don't think you upset her because you said that. When you said that, it exposed the fact that she shouldn't have been a supervisor. That's what it actually did.
Right.
It exposed her, and she got upset because she was exposed. But you
Oh
asking the
yeah.
question, to try to get information so you can fill in some of the blanks and some of the voids.
Yeah.
Nothing was wrong with that.
So I was really trying to help. So sometimes, yeah, we like you said, we disrespect people, or they feel disrespected. She really did feel that way. She went to my boss and everything. I mean, I didn't get in a whole lot of trouble, and I ended up learning that stuff on my own and did it anyway. I mean, it ended up like that anyway. But after that, they started cross training everybody. They started doing that. So sometimes the stuff that you do has a ending. We're here for a purpose, a reason. I wasn't trying to disrespect nobody. I was trying to help them out. And sometimes, even though it's a little cloudy, you see clearly later on what the thing was, because they started cross-training everyone over in all of those departments, and things changed, and that became better for them, for the company.
Yeah. Now, was the lady, was she still the supervisor?
She was still the supervisor. You know how that is. It's some people. She was a supervisor when I had gotten there years before. She just always stayed the supervisor over that department. But over the years, I was there 17 years. Things change, stuff change. But I believe if you're a supervisor, you need to change with the stuff. You need to go. I think the supervisor should get the training first. But that's not always how it is. Sometimes they promote people that just because they've been there or something for years. So, hey.
So let me ask this then. Getting back to feeling disrespected. Have you ever felt that somebody disrespected you and you didn't say anything?
Oh yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah.
Why?
It goes back to what I said earlier. Sometimes, especially if it was like outright disrespect, it wasn't no, they didn't think this, or it was just outright. Then sometimes you just let some things go. Some stuff ain't even worth fighting over. It ain't even worth arguing over. It's like, hey, they feel that way. I'm sorry if you feel that way about me, and and hey, you let it go. Life's short, man.
Okay, but now, Darlene, I heard you said that happened to you as well. That somebody made you feel a certain way. Huh?
Yes, this happens all the time, but it depends on my mood. Like sometimes I don't feel like giving people the energy. Sometimes I'm not playing around with it. Sometimes I could get, it depends. I could respond and let it be known. And sometimes I just say, no, the person ain't even worth it. It ain't even worth it. It don't make my day. It don't make me no money. Like, bye. It depends on how I'm feeling that day.
I mean, my reason for asking is because, like the situation with Brenda and I had no knowledge that she felt that way. Now, does that affect your relationship with the person now? Now, I want you to think about it. The fact that they disrespected you, you held it in, and I'm not going to say anything, but it made me feel a certain way. Now, every time I see you, does that come back? Do you see what I'm saying? And I'm thinking about it, but I'm not going to deal with it. But I'm feeling a certain way now about you every time I see you.
Well, to me, it's gonna be like how you're gonna respond. Something similar to Brenda. I was head of a computer department, so I'm in charge in control of the accounts receivable, account payable, how the computer runs, the software, the routing, everything. And they brought this guy who was from Nigeria, and he had so many degrees, and they had me to train him. They had me train him to be my boss.
And that happens a lot.
Yeah. Yes. So I'm training him and teaching him everything I know for him to become my boss to get paid more than me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to me, that was just so disrespectful. And then another man comes to me in a totally different department, and he said to me, never show or teach anyone everything you know.
Yeah.
Because later on, that job had to eventually, I didn't go, the guy that I trained, um, I didn't have to get back to him because he technically didn't do it. It was the corporate that really did it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I didn't show him certain things that even when I told him how to do certain things, it's a different swag I do with things that they eventually had to match that pay. They eventually had to call me back in. So to me, I'm like, sometimes even being in a situation you're being disrespected, racist, or being a female, your gender, somehow, some way to me, it gonna hit you, like how you're gonna respond, if you're gonna get to it or just gonna let it play out and it's still gonna be handled.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I understand where you're coming from, but I'm speaking from the person facilitating the disrespect side. Whereas can that person, if the person never knew that that's what was happening, can they really be held accountable for something that they don't know? I mean, y'all kind of understand what I'm saying? Because even when
Well,
Brenda mentioned that to me, I was like, really? That made you feel a certain way? I didn't know.
yeah, you want, okay. Look, but what it didn't do, did I ever treat you any different?
I don't know.
Did you know? No. Did you notice
Now
me
I'm gonna
being,
say this, Brenda. We used to talk a lot. Me and you, we used to talk on the phone a lot, and then it just stopped.
no, but we still talked after that. If I stop talking, that's because I get busy. But we talked after that. We even talked around that time. I don't even remember. That wasn't last year. I'm not really sure. I think that was 2 years ago. I think it
Yeah, I
was
think it
two.
might have
I'm
been
not
2 years
sure.
ago. Yeah,
But
yeah.
no, yeah. But I know what happened was I was surprised. So when I caught, but when you put those notes about disrespect and all the aspects of being disrespectful, that came to my mind because that one of the things that you put in our notes for us to check out
Mm-hmm.
described that. So but what it was yeah, I always thought, you and I are cool, and you can still be cool with people. People can, can touch you. I mean, in a wrong way. Like one of Quee is my daughter, y'all, and she just
Mm-hmm.
said something about a girl told her at her job that she was disrespecting her because she asked her, did she know Jesus? You know what I'm saying? So people feel disrespected by things you not even trying to do, like you said. But I think I was, like I told you, I was surprised that, because okay, I don't know if he told the story right, y'all. I'm gonna tell the story right.
Go.
When I gave him the little memento, I had made them, first of all, I make the favors and stuff for the parties. So I had made it, and I gave him one. I gave everybody one who was present. Now, no other men did this. He threw his across the table, y'all. He threw it when I gave it to him and say, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't want this. Now, how you would have felt? I didn't let that linger or stay on
Disrespectful.
me, but I was totally shocked, first of all, because he had never done nothing like that before. And then I even wondered, because, I just kind of let it go, walked on around, finished what I was doing. And I was kind of wondering, is he drunk? Because I'm like, I noticed and did, but I got past that. I talked to him after that. No, I ain't never treated him funny, because if that was the case, see, because first of all, I can't hold on to that kind of stuff too long. You know why? I am a child of the Most High King. I want to be right. I try real hard to stay right. I ain't kidding. I try real hard. There's sometimes I can just turn over and but I have to let that go, man. That was a little thing. I've been disrespected and called some names and stuff by some family members, and then I have to look at them and say, I like to be like Jesus on the cross. They know not what they do.
Yeah. I mean, but I'm glad you said that to me, because now I have to be mindful of that. I think I might have had a little, I wasn't feeling I was feeling good. I'll put it like that.
So what do you think? What do you think though? You don't feel that if she said to the point that you threw it across the table, like somebody just give you something nice.
Brenda's being extra with that.
Oh, okay.
I didn't do like this. I ain't do like this.
He do it.
He threw it, period. I mean, you don't feel that was being disrespectful? You don't think if someone handed you something, like if you walking down the street and somebody passed you a pamphlet, a button or something, you don't feel that's disrespectful? You just, I don't want that. You don't feel that that would be disrespectful?
At the time, I didn't. I didn't. I really didn't. Because to me, I was around people, the people that was around me, I considered like family. We knew each other, I didn't.
They were family. And I felt like he was doing that in front. It felt like nobody else threw their thing. Nobody else. Everybody just took that little thing. He's the only one. That's why I said when I walked away, I said, is he drunk?
I don't.
But I got past it, Ty. I got past it. I didn't have to go lay on the couch. I didn't have to lay on the couch and nothing.
Look, I am glad. But look, Quee made a comment. I want us to kind of address this. She says, people are so easily disrespected and offended. Now it's so sad. Person thought and disrespected her. Is that right?
Yeah, she writes like that.
Okay, people thought and disrespected her.
People thought I disrespected her.
Oh, people thought that I disrespected her because I asked her, did she have a personal relationship with Jesus? So I get. So what she's saying is that this person, when she asked this woman this or this person this, and they felt disrespected, but she didn't know that she was being disrespectful by asking that question.
Right.
Just like you didn't know that you was offending that lady that you was exposing. You didn't know you was exposing her.
Right. Yeah.
And so
I
mean, is that something that happens on a regular where people are disrespecting people, but not really aware of it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it happens. I mean, like we said earlier, I think it's like 50-50. Some people, I mean, I mean, I don't think everybody's out to get people, to disrespect people. Sometimes it's their personality. It's just the way they are. Everybody doesn't like your personality. You know what I'm saying? You could be a good person, but everybody doesn't like your personality. Some people, like introverts or extroverts, you know what I'm saying? I don't meet any strangers. Somebody might, oh God, this one. I was with a guy I was talking to, and I spoke to another guy, and later on, they said that was disrespect. I speak to people. You know what I'm saying? The guy got on our elevator. I spoke. Like, so there's people who call stuff disrespect that you don't consider disrespectful. I mean, I think when you're being really outright just nasty and disrespectful. Well, I don't know, because you didn't know.
Putting my 2 cents in right quick.
Mm-hmm.
I think for most of this, you gotta use your intuition. Because sometimes you really know when someone is being disrespectful with you. And sometimes, like you said, it's just a matter of me saying something and not realizing the way I say it. Maybe I said it in a certain tone. Maybe I said something that may have struck you a certain way because I used a certain word and you thought I was playing on something that, was an inside thing or whatever. But for most of us, we have to use our intuition, because a lot of times people are coming for you and they do it in a sneaky way. Like when you were reading what Quee said, like she thought she tried her. Sometimes people will try you. And sometimes they do it and make it seem like, oh, I'm not trying to do anything. A lot of times people play in your face, as they say. But it's all about using your intuition.
That's a new one.
For me, I can sense things. If I'm sensing something from you, then if you say something or do something a certain way, I already take it as that because that's what you put out there. Mm-hmm. If I'm not feeling anything, then I'm just going to let it slide because you probably didn't intend for it to be that way. Until I figure it to be something different, I'm going to ignore it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the average person that they do that. They just, like you said, if you feel like that Negro did that on purpose, then you might, it all depends on if you feel like having getting into it with a person, then you might say something. Like me personally, I believe if I would say something regardless. But normally I don't only this one dude that I'm telling you, it's only this one dude that I feel that way around, because he think he's slick. He say little stuff. You know how people, I had a friend that said he was in the elevator and when he got into the elevator, it was these two white guys in the elevator. And when he got in the elevator, one white guy looked at the other white guy and said, "Hey man, look what the cat drugged me in."
Wow.
And I'm like, and what did you say?
Right. That's a hard one.
He didn't say anything, but he knew what was going on. He's like, he only catch there, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. And I'm like, I'm wondering if I was in that situation, I would have said something. I would have been like, meow or something. I would have said something stupid or something to let them know that I knew you talking. I know you was talking about me.
Yeah.
Right.
They know you anyway though.
yeah,
they know you know.
They know you know. They want you to say something.
Right.
See, that's where I come in. See, that's where I use my stuff at now. Now where I be like, hey, I ain't finna say nothing to you because I'm gonna think a couple of things. You can whoop me. Number one, because you sitting here being disrespectful on purpose, you could do that. You know what I'm saying? Or you want me to say, you got a reason, you want me to say something so you can do something. You know what I mean? Like I ain't giving them.
Right. Two of them. Right. Yeah. You gotta be smart about it.
You're right. They was probably looking for a fight. And
they clearly right.
I mean, for them to say that out loud. Yeah, that was terrible.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I mean, now check this out. What about people with big egos? Like sometimes people they withhold respect from another person because they feel showing you respect diminishes them in some kind of way.
In the front
Let me
of
give you an
people?
example. Yeah, I mean, it's like I know now whenever I tell a story about my life, I always try to give people credit where give people credit where credit is due. But if a person don't like a certain person that's around you, then whenever you give that person credit for something that they may have done in your life, they might be like, oh, why you always giving so-and-so credit? You don't credit yourself. You don't give yourself no credit. I mean, you kind of you see where I'm coming from with this? It's like if I'll use me as an example. If I have a problem with your man Craig, this is Carl. I'm sorry, that's Jaja husband. I'm sorry, I got them mixed up. But Carl.
Oh my God, we get
Carl and Craig. Come on now, CC. I got them mixed up. But I fixed it. I got it right.
Let's get Craig. Let's say
It's
Craig.
Carl. No, if I got a problem with Carl, you know what I'm saying? And then you telling a story one day, and you state how Carl was really instrumental in helping you to do this, that, and another, and I'll be like, I'm sure you had some role or in making that happen. Why you giving credit to somebody else? I'm sure you had something to do with that. And the only reason I'm doing that is because I got a problem with Carl. I mean, you see what I'm saying? And so
people do that.
It's hard, when you get into disrespect and respect to know when you're dealing with people, how can I listen to what, or how can you listen to what I'm saying about a situation that you're in if I'm giving you advice from a corrupted kind of point of view because I got a problem with the person you talking about?
Well, it seems as though I would already know you had that problem, so I would expect that from you. If you kept on doing it, it would be kind of tired of hearing it. But the respectful thing to do is just don't say nothing. Both parties already know that you got a problem with this person. You know what I'm saying? So I guess I would probably not try to talk much about them to you because I already know you got a problem. Or if I happen to mention something, you might just try not to say what you really feel because we know you got a problem. So,
Well,
then that would be
nothing to me, Brenda. You wouldn't say nothing to me
about you having a problem with him?
Like, I noticed that every time I mention,
is that what you're asking?
Carl, you always bring up something, it seems like you got a problem. What problem you got with Carl? Wouldn't that be
oh, you mean when I asked you that?
Yeah. I mean, because
probably the first, probably if you did it a few times and then I realized you do, I might, I might ask that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then,
then we have to agree not to talk about it. We have to agree, that we won't talk about it. But then
I tell you, I ain't got no problem with Carl. Carl, cool.
Oh, so you mean you would lie to me? That's what you're saying? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying this is what we do. Y'all know this is what we do. We be having a problem and you're like, well, what's wrong? Oh, ain't nothing wrong. Ain't nothing wrong. I'm straight. I'm cool.
Well, look at all the
I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Okay.
Because you said you would usually speak on everything. How would you handle this situation? Let's say you and Yolanda are standing somewhere and someone walks up. Let's say me, and I walk up and I go, "Hey, Tyrone, how you doing?" Like Yolanda's not there. How would you approach me? Would you say something to me like, "Do you see my wife sitting here?"
Yeah, no, what I can hear him saying it.
You know what? No. Because see, a lot of times you can jump the gun, and because normally when you speak to a person, you anticipate them to speak to everybody. If you do the individual thing, because most times people just speak to the group. Hey, y'all, how y'all doing? And that covers everybody. But if you go the individual route, you got to go the individual route with everybody, right? So if I'm the first one, I anticipate you to make the round. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you don't make the round and you just walk off, then I'll be wondering, like, what was that all about? And I
no, but if you're standing there,
right,
with your wife, and I walk up talking to you like she's not there, then how do you handle that? And I'm asking because I was standing with someone one day and someone just walked up like I wasn't there. And it took everything in me not to act a fool, because I felt like it was disrespect, and my intuition was telling me it was disrespect. And along the line, I found out, yeah, they were really trying to be disrespectful. But I tried to go the easy route and just smile like, and just turn away, you know, like, you ain't doing nothing here. Even though I wanted to be like, and, you know, go crazy. But
that would be on them.
Yeah, the example you gave, like, though.
What you say, V?
I'm sorry, go ahead, V.
No, I was just saying that would be on them, the person you were standing with. When somebody does that and come up and acknowledge that person, not acknowledge you standing there or whatever, then that was on that person to say, yo, this is such and such. Like, you know, just like that. Like, they come speak to them like, oh, hey, and you act like you ain't there, like, hey, this is you know, this is my whoever, this is my one, or whatever it is at the time, yo, this is such and such right here. You know, acknowledge this person. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's what she was asking.
I just wanted a male perspective on it.
But see, that example you gave, Vanessa, is kind of different, because you and I and Yolanda, we real close. You see what I'm saying? And you came up.
No, but I was just using us as an example, because it doesn't matter if it's me or anybody else. Because even if I walk up and Yolanda's standing there, if I just address you, you're supposed to be like, whoa, what's going on here? Why you ain't speak to Yolanda?
No, believe me, Yolanda could be like, excuse me, you don't see me standing here? You don't see me standing here? She would say that to you. Yolanda would say that to you. You know she would. He the only person you see? You know? So because of our friendship.
But if she didn't know me, it would be different. So I was just trying to see how you would do that if you
knew me. Yes. But I would definitely be like, oh, excuse me, this is my wife, Yolanda. Yolanda, this is Vanessa. I would introduce you all. You know? And that's what she was trying to get to. Right, but see, by us knowing each other, it kind of, I couldn't do that because I expect her to say something to Yolanda. You see what I'm saying? Because of how friendly we are with each other. But if she didn't know Yolanda and she just walked up and just spoke to me, it's my place. How they say it's the unwritten rules. I think that's one of them. It's my place to say, oh, excuse me. By the way, this is my wife, Yolanda. Yolanda, this is Vanessa. And then Vanessa, oh, hey, nice to meet you, Yolanda. Or this and that. Or if she gives her a dry, hi. And then go back to talking to me, then I'd be like, wait a minute. Is there a problem here? What's going on? You see what I'm saying?
I mean, but that happens. That happens. There's some men or some women that won't introduce you to the person. They won't say that. It's rude for you to walk up and do that, but that happens too. That does happen. And there are some people who don't introduce you to the other person. I mean, we're living in that kind of world. Everybody doesn't know. I mean, and I feel like these days now, I just saw something earlier on Facebook. It was one of those little story time things telling parents how to talk to their children, you know, because I really feel like that stuff that grandmothers did and mothers did years ago, that is escaping us. They are not telling the kids to speak to adults. They're not telling the kids to be, you know, wait till I get through talking. That is like leaving, man. That's disappearing. So it's like up to us. And then, you know, if we say something to people's kids, if kids come up and start talking in front of adults, and we say, hey, little boy, you know, the mama's coming after you now. You know what I'm saying? So disrespect, I mean, this topic could really gone a whole lot of ways, because disrespect is a big thing. And we're getting it from y'all know we're getting it from the head, our government, disrespectful. You know, the people that came in, putting away the other people out of our country, disrespectful. We're getting that. That disrespect is becoming a major thing. And some of these young adults are going to feel as if It's okay to disrespect. When my grandbaby said, Lord, forgive me, grandbaby, you know, you out there, she know who she was. When she said to me, because I was upset one day about the car in front of me, and she said, Grandma, you need to smoke some weed. What? I would have never said that to my grandmother.
Yes.
These kids, and they ain't little kids, and I would the stuff that's happening, man. If we don't get it together, so our presence in the front of everybody, you guys, people are watching us, kids are watching us, you know, adults, other adults. If we think, I mean, not that we are perfect, but when we know things about disrespect and we don't want to be disrespected, we need to be respectable at all times, even if we are at the party and you don't like the little trinket.
I agree. I agree, Brenda. I was wrong. I
that's
apologize when you told me, didn't I?
Yeah,
when you
did
told me, I
apologize,
apologized to you, didn't I? Okay, Brenda. But can
That's
you
my closing thought.
let everybody know I apologized?
Oh, I said, yeah, you did. You didn't hear me? I said,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you did. You did apologize. You did
Yes.
apologize 2 years later. I mean, no, you did apologize.
But you didn't tell me till 2 years later, Brenda.
Throw myself the next time now.
No, it won't be a next time. I'm gonna make sure it's not a next
Hallelujah.
time. You know,
All right.
And I think that's what you have to do in order to prevent challenges in relationships, friendships, and things like that. You have to be able to tell your friends or your family members when they hurt your feelings, and then you know what kind of friend and family member you got. You know,
you're right.
You know, what if I had just told, when you said that, Brenda? What if I had said, "Oh man, you're just being too sensitive, man. You need to get your stuff together. You're just being overly sensitive." You know.
Yeah, then I would have stopped talking. I would have stopped talking to you then. I would have.
You see what I'm saying? So that kind of lets you know who you're dealing with, the kind of people you're dealing with. You know, when you share with them, hey man, you hurt my feelings, or you made me feel bad, or this, that, and another, you know, and they be like, oh, suck it up, you know, what a, it'd be like, yeah, I'm done with you, you know.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna hang out with you guys, you know, till the train stops, you know. I'm gonna hang out with y'all. Y'all seem to be pretty cool, you know. I see Darlene is back.
Oh yeah, Darlene's back. Welcome back.
Yeah, I need her to do my taxes. She's back.
And my closing thoughts as we wrap it up today, I want you to remember this. I want you to treat people you gain nothing from, people that you don't gain anything from. You need to reflect the same character that you want reflected to you, or that you want to receive. You have to reflect that same character. Respect isn't a currency that you save up, you know, for VIP people. You know, we should it's the baseline of how we should operate as human beings, I believe. This week, pay attention to your unspoken language. You know, like you was telling me, Brenda, me tossing that thing on the table and saying what I said, that's an unspoken language, you know. And I need, and because you brought it to my attention, now I'm aware of it now. You know, that you can't do stuff like that, you know. And so whoever we offend or may not offend, we got to be mindful of the things we say, our mannerisms. And like Brenda says, a lot of times people are watching us. You know, these young people, they are watching us. They're looking at how we deal with situations and what we say to people. You know, you got to be mindful when you got a young person answering the phone and it's somebody that you don't want to talk to, and you tell them to lie because you don't feel like talking to them. And then you get pissed off at them when they lie. You know, we got to be really mindful of this stuff, you know, because when our children they're like a mirror. of who we are and what we are teaching. And so if you see something going on, they always used to say back in the day, the fruit don't fall too far from the tree. So if our kids are acting a certain way, it's because the tree must be rotten as hell. That's my closing thought. Anybody else got anything?
Well,
I think
I'll go next.
Go ahead.
My closing thought. I think for the most part, most of us on this podcast are baby boomers or Gen X. I want to say our generations and maybe a few of the millennials, we went by a certain hierarchy of respect when it came to elders, your parents, your immediate circle. It was like
teacher.
You knew what you could say to the elders. You knew what you could say to your parents. The children nowadays in this generation, they're like, I don't have to respect anyone that doesn't respect me. And if I don't feel like respecting you, I'm just not going to. That's a little of their mindset. So we have to get back into teaching them that there is a hierarchy of respect. And it's not just with family. They do this in the streets. When you're out in the real world, there's still a hierarchy of respect. And you have to give certain people a certain level of respect because of who they are or what positions they're in. Now, I agree that people should respect you just as you respect them, but they don't feel like they have to give any respect at all, so they think that everyone is on their level, and we just weren't taught that way. So I think we have to get back to letting them know that, hey, it's levels to everything in life, and you have to learn how to follow certain instructions. You have to move a certain way in certain circles. So we just have to teach these kids better. And if somebody dropped the ball, a lot of somebody's dropped the ball. Part of this generation dropped the ball, so we all have to look at this as a community. And instead of putting band-aids on this part or that part, we have to repair the whole community.
Amen. I agree 1,000%.
Right.
You see Carl? Carl, like, what I do?
What I do?
Carl, I use you as an example, man. You didn't do nothing.
Did you see Queen's comment right before that?
I didn't read it. I seen it. What did she say?
Oh,
Wait a minute, hold on. It says, I believe we all need to check the intent of heart and think before we speak or act. I agree. We do.
Yeah.
I mean, and then again, it all goes back to being in control of yourself. I really believe I was a little tipsy that night. I really do believe that. I think I was drinking that. Wasn't I drinking champagne? I think
I'm not sure, man.
I'm not sure. But because that's normally not my character. It's normally not. But again, you got something to close out with, V?
Well, I guess, man, like when Vanessa said, we dropped the ball a lot as far as respect and disrespect. And I think we're seeing that now with my younger brothers and sisters, and we seeing that exactly the mirror of what we did not do. And because everything starts with self and then I guess what we say in the house. And I don't think a lot of young people, they don't even respect the people who they live with. They don't respect their parents.
Right.
They don't respect their parents enough. They really don't. And that's the thing. It's like a parent thing. It's a whole thing, man. But we have to start, like y'all say, showing them how to be respectful, where to draw the line, boundaries and stuff like that. It's just it's like a whole thing. So yeah, man, we gotta get back to what we didn't do. We gotta go pick up the ball. So they can see
Yes,
us
sir.
pick up the ball, then they could, you know what I mean? That's how it's gonna work. And I
Yeah.
think it's been like that for a long time. We gotta understand that they're gonna do what they see. And when we try to check them on it, they not trying to hear it, because it's like, yo, they see us. We can't outsmart them. They like, yo, y'all ain't pick up the ball and y'all dropped it a long time ago. So how you gonna tell me how to pick it up? You know what I'm
Take it back.
saying? That's how it works.
Exactly. Well, Darlene, you got anything real quick?
Well, I think B wrapped it up. One of my favorite artists is T.I. You know,
I like
demand respect. So I think we all was not going and demanding it. And, you know, maybe we got to not be fearful of the consequences, you know, behind it.
Right. That's it. That's it.
That's the main thing. I think you hit it right there.
Yeah.
You know, when you demand respect, you're also showing people what respect looks like.
Yeah.
You showing them.
And
No, you crossed the
right.
line.
You can't
when
be
you
scared.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But hey,
All
thank
right,
you
good
guys
job.
for being on tonight. I want to thank all of my people in the comments. We had Quee, we had Yolanda, we had Carl. I think that was it. Just those three. Yep. Thank you guys for making your comments. And there were other people, I'm sure, that was watching that didn't make any comments or say anything. But we thank you for being here. We'll be back next Thursday night. Tell your friend, tell your relatives, tell your mama-in-law. She'll tell everybody. But until then, continue to think for a change. We'll be back next week.
Thanks for supporting our podcast. We look forward to see you next Thursday at 8 p.m. We also ask that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. The more subscribers we have, the more YouTube will push our podcast to more viewers. But until then, subscribe also for a peaceful mind. Your activity will reflect that peace.